Welcome to episode 20 for the Higher Living podcast, and a big achievement for us. Big achievement. While there's like an explosion of podcasts that are occurring, we attempted this several years ago, and we got to like episode 8, and it was always part of where we wanted to go. And this may be something that's similar for you at the moment. You may have tried something for the first time, maybe it didn't work, right? But that doesn't mean don't do it again. Listen to hear how we went about it to change course. Now, if you are in that situation and you've done something and it didn't work and you do the exact same thing, I'm hoping that you do that with the timing changing. So if you're completing something and doing it exactly the same way with no other factors changing, how likely are you to get that end result? But if you're doing it and it's, things have changed, so the timing then becomes favorable for you, that could be an option. But you got to learn how to go, well, how do I take what I've done and then go about it in a different way? And that's exactly how On Tracker is still going. Over 4 years, think about if we would have started with what we have now. Well, there's no way that that's possible. My health is not possible. A marriage, a relationship is nothing is possible. Think about this time of year. Some of you may be planting some of your cannabis plants at the moment, right? Or that you may start to see some of that growth. You're not going to get those big buds to start with. You've got to go through that little process at the beginning, right? So everything runs its course. Being in November, coming to the end of the year has run its course in some ways. And so preparation for how am I going to finish the year and what does this summer or winter period look like for me coming up and how am I going to move forward? I think that's something that is important to talk about, and the significance of a bit of us at On Tracker with the Higher Living podcast being at episode 20. We're only here because we changed strategy, and we changed strategy in the following ways. Next week is episode 21. Episode 21, and we're making it about women. We're doing women in cannabis, and we've got a stellar lineup of people, and we're going to unpack patterns. And I think I would say it's, again, going to be one of our best yet. We went back and we've had some great ones so far when we've had some guests on. And episode 21 is significant because over 90% of podcasts fail to go past episode 21. So our goal was we need to create content, we need to do our editing, and we need to get this live within 3 hours. Now, sometimes we've gone a little bit over, but not often. Not often. This is something we make the content and we put it out there. And the idea is our goal was to get to episode 21. And we didn't want any distractions. We want, oh no, the intro isn't right. A lot of you help us to get this to be better. And so it's a massive thank you. And so if you are connecting with this message so far, or any of the topics that we've gone into, which are going to support you to live higher, and that doesn't necessarily mean via substances, as you can see, we're going in today, a little bit of mindset. But if you are enjoying this, as always, please like, subscribe, and comment below. The message is share this with as many people as you can, or it could just be with that one person. You're like, hey, I know you're going through some things at the moment. This is a pretty interesting podcast. They talk about some things, and I know there's a lot of stuff, but have a look and just see for yourself. That could be a way to get that message out. Next week, episode 21. We are so pumped. Today, that whole idea about moving forward and what that looks like, learning lessons, particularly being mindful of this time of year, I think it's really helpful to pull up James Clear. So if you haven't read this book, you should. If you know someone, again, that is in a situation where you think they could probably do with a little bit of assistance and support with decision-making, lifestyle, their weight, their exercise, their use of substances, anything that you see that you think they could probably get a little bit of an edge, this book, Atomic Habits, is something that you should probably be across. And one of the key points, there's many quotes that stand out to me, and I'm just recalling this as I talk. And one of them is, like many of us get to a situation where like, oh, I didn't get to do my exercise today, so what's the point, right? That whole 0 to 100. I didn't eat the right way, so what's the point? I'll do it next week, or I'll start in January. The biggest thing he says, one of the biggest things is, it doesn't matter how you finish your day, how you finish your week. Just make sure that you make that correction tomorrow to get back on track. That's all it is. Because it also gets away from a lot of the self-loathing and a lot of the guilt, that we pour upon ourselves when we make certain decisions. Oh, why did I do that again? Why do I need to go and eat this food? Why am I back in this relationship? Why did I have that other drink? That doesn't take us anywhere. It just keeps us stuck, right? But in some of that, when you get stuck, there's a little bit of a tail. So the tail means it may not just be that one day. It may go for 2 days, 3 days, a month. Some of those intrusive thoughts can follow. And so an easy way is, okay, recognizing that I'm not where I want to be, but I can make the decision to finish the day better. So I can make that better decision later today, or tomorrow's the new day. Tomorrow I get back on track and correct my behavior. Generally the result of that is a better decision that you can make, because you've now changed the frame. You've changed your frame from self-loathing to opportunity. You've changed it from an agitation, i.e. a stressful situation that you're pouring on yourself, to, I've created an avenue and a pathway for me to then go down. And if that is then open for you, there's a new solution, then it's up for you to then be able to go forward. And that comes back to, again, episode 20. We got here because we went, what is the way we're going to do it differently? Okay, we're not always going to interview people, because if we rely on everyone's schedule the whole time, we may miss a week. And if we miss a week, we may miss 2 weeks, we may miss a month, we may finish. Okay, so what's the most important thing? Most important thing is putting out the content and making sure it's going live, and then we get better. Okay, cool. Let's do that. All right, how do we do that? This is our core focus. We're building apps and studies. What do we need to do? Okay, can't spend too much time on it. Another rule. All right. So then we started collecting and basing this show on certain small rules, which have then gotten us to our goal, which is episode 21. And now we're in a situation where we need to review big one on women next week. And then it's like, okay, well, what does it look like getting to maybe episode 50? Or the next one would probably be episode 100. Now, what does that need to involve? And what lessons can we learn to then help us to go, do we need to get to episode 100, or do we do it in seasons like others do? So if you would be able to let us know what your preference is, that would be helpful, because we don't know. I would think it's weekly and continuing to do those reps. But yeah, we'd need to have a look. And one of the biggest reasons why this is so important for me personally, I'll tell you a story why, yeah. I was 26, 27, I think, and I moved to London. I'm from Sydney, and I moved over to London, and I was there, and I was going to be there for 2 years on a visa. And during that time, I was in a situation where I was like, well, I don't want to just and this is like 15 years ago. Yeah. So I don't want to just be in a situation where I come to this country. Yeah. I experience some things, but I go back in 2 years and I'm kind of the same guy, right? Probably didn't construct it that way in my thinking back then, but that's kind of where I was at. I want to learn something. I want to acquire something. And I kind of broke it down into 4 different areas that I wanted to do. One of them was a martial art. One of them was start yoga. One of them was learn Spanish. And then the other one was start music. So let's fast forward now 15 years later, still learning Spanish. So if I just dedicated myself then, I wouldn't be where I am now. Wrong. Yoga, didn't try it back then. Doing it now. Need to get back on track myself, actually, with my yoga. And then a martial art. I started one. I'd finished my work on a Tuesday and Thursday, and I got sick of getting punched in the head, which was stupid. So I didn't want to get punched in the head more, so I stopped. And what lesson is there? Like, never going to go anywhere. if I didn't want to get punched in the head. So I probably had to continue that. And then what sort of man would I be now 15 years later if I continued? And then the other one was music. I then decided to start playing music. I played piano every day, did it every day for 20 minutes a day, religiously. Didn't miss a day. Weekends, I'd probably spend a little bit more time on it. I went to Morocco for a surf trip, came back, and I never played again. Crazy, right? The reason I'm telling you that is because then when I got diagnosed with cancer, I was like, I haven't been able to complete and fulfill anything. I hadn't, like some things, but I was like half in, half in, half in. And so then I was like, okay, I'm going to place so much emphasis on the little things. It's going to be the little things. It's the micro goals. And that has been the foundation of where I am now. It's why I can continue to get up for work. It's why I still stay healthy. It's why I do my fasting. It's why I'm drinking this tea at the moment, which I consider a medicine. It's all these little things which has been the foundation of the discipline that has been able to drive me. And that idea of working on myself and getting myself in order first before then bringing it into other areas, i.e. my business, my marriage, and my health, 3 of my biggest domains, if not the biggest. Like, where else would I be? And I think that message maybe is something for you at this time. Are you the 0 to 100 guy or girl? If so, what can you do about that to be at that more 100 range? Or is that mindset keeping you potentially trapped in itself? Episode 21 coming next week. Evidence of us doing the reps, doing the work. Summer's coming up. Christmas festivities are coming up. What's going to be your plan? What are those daily steps that you're taking, the micro goals that you're taking wherever you are now to ensure that whatever year you've had, you can finish it better rather than like, I'm going to wait for next year. What can you start doing today? What can you start doing tomorrow? What can you start doing Monday? What are these micro focuses? What are these micro goals that you can start bringing to the forefront of your mind to help you continue to take those steps forward? That's the message for today. We're doing the reps. Next week, Women in Cannabis. We are pumped. Hope you enjoy it. Happy weekend. Thank you very much.